try that again. I know they said they couldn't hear me. So let's see if you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? Hey Miriam, can you hear me now? I don't know what to tell you. It's weird. Um, hey Facebook Live. Just want to give a quick shout out that we're episode 138. 138. Hey Jasmine. Thank you for watching. 138. We're in episode one. Hey Jazz, can you hear me? Jazz, if you're watching, can you hear me? Jazz, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think she has me on mute. All right, well, hopefully you guys can hear me today. If not, well, Jazz says she can hear me, so I don't know, Miriam. You may have to check your phone a little bit, sweetheart. But yes, thank you for another episode of Daily Motivation, 365 Days of Consistency, doing the same things over and over again till they become habit. And today I want to talk about a conversation I was having with one of my students, was why you should always think ahead. And our biggest issue is life pushes us. And I think we wait till life hands us some rotten eggs, if you know what I mean. That hands us something that we didn't want, that motivates us to push forward and do things a little bit differently. As you can see with life, you always expect the unexpected, because there's always going to be something that's going to push you into a direction even when you're not ready. So I believe the geniuses of this world, the wise of this world, push themselves. And they're always thinking ahead. They're always looking at where is things going? Where's life going? Where's the trajectory of life? And they start, hitting it at the pass. Meaning they start going towards it when everyone else is stagnant in the present. For example, I was talking to a friend. I was talking about Henry Ford. When Henry Ford came up with the Model T car, people were in outrage. They literally took him to court. And they were upset, and they said, why didn't you ask, the people, why, if you could make a car or not, if they even wanted it. And he said, if I did, they'll ask me for a faster horse. And they don't make those. The horse is going to run as fast as it can. That's it. And so they don't make faster horses. So now you have the ability to have 4 horsepower, 4 horses at once from an invention. That's where things were going. And I was having a conversation with my student that the car existed. Hey, Terry, how's it going, brother? The car existed before Henry Ford modified it to it could be for more economical use. So before the everyday man had a car, the car already existed. And so I don't truly feel bad for the stagecoaches, the horse trainers, because they should have saw it coming. Same thing with the taxi driver. I had a conversation with a man a long time ago, 2016, and I was like, Uber's started in 2008. So you're telling me in 8 years you didn't see it coming? Because he was like, man, it's so messed up what Uber did for taxi drivers. I said it's not, because taxi drivers were doing unethical things if you paid attention. They were driving longer routes so they could get paid more. Or even they wouldn't pick up certain minorities. So what Uber did, it just changed the game to make it more convenient for people. And people are always looking for the convenience. That's where future is always in the convenience. What makes life easier for people? And people will gravitate towards it. But our issue is, especially as entrepreneurs, is we stay stagnant in the present. And what kills me about some entrepreneurs, when something happens, a crisis hits you, that's when you want to move. That's when you want to move. But you should move way before a crisis ever hits you. You should have been ahead of the game, because if you were ahead of the game, by the time something hits, you're already a resource. You're already doing it. And so people see you as, oh, hey, I'm having a problem in my life. Hey, I could go to this person because this person's already been doing it. Like Jeff Bezos. When Jeff Bezos started marketing online, Everybody was telling him, Jeff, you're ridiculous, brother. Nobody's gonna buy anything on the internet. The internet's gonna be a fad. Nobody's gonna spend their hard-earned money on the internet. They're not gonna trust the internet. But he betted on himself. He betted on the trajectory. Now he's a multi-billionaire because everybody buys things on the internet. But in 1999, when he had the idea, this epiphany, that, hey man, one day people are going to buy things on the internet. Everybody was still in the now. They were saying, no, it's not going to happen. Jeff, you're being ridiculous. That's stupid. Nobody's going to buy it, Jeff. Leave it alone. But he said, I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to bet on the future of humans. Not on the present, but the future, because things are always changing. The most consistent thing in life is change. Change will happen when you're ready for change and when you're not ready for change. Change will always happen. Life does not wait for you to get ready. It says either you're going to be ready or not ready. I'm moving forward. Life's like Michael Jordan in that way. Either you coming along or get off the boat. But life is always moving towards. That's why I love playing chess. Chess is my favorite game to play. Why? Because it's a strategy game. It's a representation of life. That you have to think 3 or 4 moves ahead to win in chess. If you're not thinking 2 or 3 or 4 moves ahead, you miss the boat. And you always will lose. But in chess, if you think 3 or 4 moves ahead of everyone else, you're always going to be on top. Because you are in the future while everyone else is in the past. You know, my favorite speaker is Robert Kiyosaki. One of my favorite speakers, authors and influencers is Robert Kiyosaki. And when he came out with, so he's been talking about an economic crash since 2016. He came out with a book called Fake, and he came out with a book called Who Stole My Pension? And he predicted an economic crash in 2018. So he was a little off because it happened in 2020. Virus or no virus, he just knew something was going to happen. Now, somebody asked him, so during the crash, he said, you know, Robert, how is your business are doing? He said, my business are doing great. Like how? You know, everyone's business is falling. How's your business doing great? He said, because I prepared for it. I knew something was coming, so I sent it out to everyone. I was telling everybody, hey, something is coming. Nobody wanted to listen to me. That's fine, but I'm going to handle myself. And so while everyone's business is crumbling down, my business is increasing. Why? Because I thought ahead. Robert Kiyosaki always talked about becoming a futurist. His mentor, who created the geodesic dome, his name slips me for right now because I am in a brain fart. But his mentor was a futurist. And he said, Robert, always bank and bet on the future. Not what's happening right now, but what can happen and may happen. And so he's done that his whole career. Even when he was doing financial education, people reamed him. When he was going around teaching the 4 quadrants, now everybody's teaching the quadrants, now everyone's being an influencer, but he was one of the first in the 90s before anyone else did it. Why? Because he was a futurist. He saw the future. Now you look at him again as a resource. He's been doing this for years. I'm not going to go to the new guy just because, okay, a crisis hits, I'm going to change my career. He said, I'm going to go for the person that saw this and handled it, did what they needed to do, and has been doing it. So when you become a futurist, you're always ahead of the game. I remember, I used to use this example. A woman was making fun of my wife. She was like, hey, how are you working from home? Why are you having a home-based business? Now she's probably looking at her like, oh, Jazz is a genius. Jazz is not a genius. I mean, she might be. But she thought ahead. She said, where things are going is where I want to be, not where things are at. So if you want to create that great stock, if you want to invest in that great company, if you want to put your money to make money for you, if you want to bank on yourself, always bank towards the future. Because what's happening now is old news. My mentor, Abraham Hicks, always says that. What's happening now is old news. What's happening right now is collection of energy from the past. So you want to foresight yourself and have premonitions of the future. Because if you start banking on the future, by the time it's the present, you're already there. You're already there. And while others are trying to scramble in for the change, you have already made the change ahead of the game, and you're a resource. Elon Musk, when he created PayPal, they're like, Elon, nobody's going to pay money online. He says, watch me. The winners in this life bank on the future. It feels like life rewards people that think ahead and spanks those who don't. Whenever you're trying to make a decision, think of the game of chess. Think of the game of chess. Always be 3 or 4 moves ahead. And if you could do that, you'll always win. If you could be 3 or 4 moves ahead. I love playing chess because I'm always fine. By the time they realize what I'm doing, it's too late. And that's how you should move with life. By the time anyone really knows what you're planning, it's too late to stop you. Again, this is Rich Fontaine with the Power of Self-Entertainment. Either you could agree with me or not agree with me. But either way, I feel this was a successful conversation. If you want to win in the future, all great investors understand this. Bank on the future and not the past. Love is love. I appreciate all of you. Namaste.